All right, welcome to Willpower and Robbery. I will get that right without having to think about it in a couple of weeks. I'm Rob Glansman.
And I'm Will Miller.
And this is a kind of a continuation of the video that I was trying to make before we were interrupted, and we turned it into a pristine recording, council. So what we wanted to talk about is, stage one, right? How do you generate an idea for an album? Are you focused on, what's your specific genre? What's your demographics that you're targeting? What's your geography that you're targeting, right? I believe all of these things when we talked about about your idea. I asked you these things, which is an important dialogue to have. But why don't you tell everybody where the inspiration for the album came from?
Okay, so prior to getting together with Rob, I did two other albums. One was a pop dance record, and the other one was quasi R&B pop. And when I got to this album, I realized, I think aside from my demographic, I also needed to know my genre, and I also needed to know what I was comfortable in doing, what I wanted to do next, and who I'm planning this album for. So, I'm not that young anymore.
Oh, come on.
No, not that young. So it wasn't going to be a teeny bopper sort of album, and I knew that the majority of the people that are going to listen to me are going to be around my age, maybe a little older, maybe a little younger, give or take 5 years.
And let me interrupt you 1 second. Let me show you the mark of a good producer. I correct your problems. Come over here.
Yes, because I'm moving slowly out of the next thing you know.
Sorry, I didn't mean to. Sometimes you got to stop the take. Go.
So I needed to know who was going to listen to me and what demographic, what age group.
Yeah.
And I realized that they're going to be a couple years older than me and a couple years younger than me. And so I wanted to do an album of songs that I think people in my age group would appreciate. And I think nothing was better than doing 80s, early 90s dance classics. And they weren't dance classics. Some of them weren't dance music at all, but I wanted to turn it into sort of a dance.
And actually, that's important. So you say, why don't we do some of these songs in the 80s? And again, I think I mentioned before, some of them I heard of, some of them I never heard of. Which I got to tell you, in some ways, was a distinct advantage. Because you weren't starting with, say, preconceived memories of what the song was like when you're hearing it in the 80s. For me,
for me it was.
For you, you knew them by heart, right? Me, it was like, okay, I heard it once, and then basically there wasn't any constraints on what we were going to do. It's like, okay, so we want to make this like Euro dance, I believe is what.
Yeah, it was Euro dance, right? Because I think that there's a difference between Euro dance and also American dance music, and as the genres or as the countries merge, the higher the dance music gets. I think that for us, it was more, for me anyway, I wanted to be Eurocentric because that's the type of music I listen to. I listen to a lot of British music, I listen to a lot of Euro music, I listen to a lot of Seal, a lot of two-step, if you remember Craig David, some of you may not, he doesn't. I listen to Artful Dodger, a lot of weird music I listened to. Scritti Politti back in the 80s. I think Duran Duran, a lot of people... did you know Duran Duran?
I did.
Oh, okay.
Give me some credit.
But you don't know Scritti Politti, do you?
No. Well, thanks to you, I do. But you know what? You can feel the passion and, you reminiscing about this, right, in your voice. Everybody's excited. So what's the point? You're trying to target a specific demographic, right? In this case, Euro dance.
Euro dance?
But with...
And an age group.
And an age group. Absolutely,
anywhere between 30 to 45, I think is my age group, which is what I actually liked.
And I gotta tell you, it's important to stay the course, right? Meaning, this is what we're gonna do, right? And every decision that you make creatively should fall, in line with that, right? And interestingly enough, it's actually kind of harder than it seems, because you're trying to do justice to the original source material, but not just be a blatant outright cover, right? So you'll hear as we start to go through the songs, and you hear our take on that, and specifically Billy's take on it. A lot of these songs were vocal heavy back in the 80s.
Absolutely.
Right? Which I think we lost a lot of that, correct me if I'm wrong, as you got into techno and a lot of the other,
Right, because a lot of techno music is basically no singing at all.
Right.
And if it is singing, it's a repetition of the same...
Techno and dance,
chorus
or
verse back and forth. It's really nothing.
So from a singer's perspective,
It's
right?
kind of tough to do.
That was why we felt this was going to be challenging. We felt it was going to be different, and we're really excited for you guys to hear it.
Right. We can't wait for you to hear it. And the last thing I just wanted to make is that I don't think we wanted to, or at least I as a singer, wanted to make sure I was still a singer on the song, where it wasn't a lot of just repetition of me not being able to sing.
We're very, let's call it what it is, we're anal. I mean, our levels of anality just rival each other's. And, and I will say that, as a parting thought, when you pick a producer and you pick your genre, maybe it helps for them to be familiar with it. But in my case, I thought it was an advantage not to be familiar with it. So a little bit of advice about when you go out and you seek your method, which we're going to assume since you're watching this, you're going to be trying to do it on your own. But certainly in concert with somebody that, to do the recording for you, just feel them out. It's a gut thing too, right?
Yeah,
I mean, and see what he says. Like, hey, how would you feel about, if you walk into a guy that does nothing but gospel music, he said, how would you feel about doing a death metal album? You're probably not going to be too receptive, right? But, that open-mindedness is crucial.
I think so.
Right?
I think picking a producer is like you said, a gut feeling. I did 2 other albums before this, and the very first album I did, I interviewed 30 producers before I picked.
Really?
Yeah. I went through the Village Voice.
I didn't know that, yeah.
I went to the Village Voice. It was 30, so maybe like 26, 27.
Like you physically sought them out?
I physically went to meet about 26 to 27 people, and I let them tell me what they could do and everything. I let them talk, and it just didn't feel right for those 26 or 27 people. I had actually ended up going with one person.
I believe I said we were anal. I think that qualifies.
I got
27.
I went to one person and I was like, okay, I'm going to use him. And then all of a sudden, at the last minute, I just like, I can't. And it was just a gut feeling. So I think you definitely need to.
Considering the years of work that we put into this, or the years of work that really you might have to put into it depending on the type of music you want to create, critical step. Because you don't want to be stuck or do halfway through. Or, it's not throwing a dart type of selection, but you certainly want to make sure that what's important to you, meaning, are you going to argue with me about everything? Or am I going to actually care enough to make a suggestion, right? That's personality. And that's also money. Let's just face it, right?
That's right.
If you're employing somebody,
and you definitely don't want someone that you work with to say, okay, if that's the way you want it, then drop it, and not give their suggestions, because then the product may not come out the way you want it. And guess what? You can't do anything about it because
you can do one thing about it. You burn it, and that's what you get.
Right.
We'll see you next week.
Next time.